Alright, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to work on the menus, because if you look at these menus, they're alright, but they're kind of ugly, and we can make them look a lot nicer. So let's just look at our demo one again so we can see what it looks like. See how we've got these nice underscores, it drops down nicer, it's a little bit better laid out. We've also got another menu down here, and in addition to that we also have a menu at the very bottom that we've made. So we're going to go ahead and make all those menus, and the reason we did this last is we had to have all the pages created before we make the menus. Let's go back to our regular page. This is our one that we're working on right now, and we're going to go back to our admin area, and we're going to go into our appearance, and then we're going to go to menus. The menus page loads. We've got a whole bunch of options showing up here. What you're going to see first is all the different main pages that you have listed, and you can ignore these for now. We're going to adjust all these, but the very first thing we have to do is create all three of those menus. So let's first of all, we've already got one called main nav, so let's go ahead and leave that as it is. That sounds good. That'll be our main navigation, which is going to be this one right across the top here. Now we're going to create another one, and to do that we click the plus menu here, right? And here let's call this sub menu. Create menu. Alright, so now we have the main nav and the sub menu. We're also going to make one more, and this one is going to be called footer menu. Create menu. Now one thing I want to show you, to go to different ones, you just click on the thing, on the title. So we're going to go back to main nav. One of the things that's automatically checked that I don't particularly like is automatically add new top level pages. So anytime you add a new page, it's going to automatically add it to your menu. I like to have a little bit more control over it. You can leave that checked if you'd like to. I'm going to go ahead and uncheck that on mine. And we're going to go ahead and save the menu again so that it records that change. Perfect. Now, the next step after creating those three menus is to determine where they go. So the header menu, that's your main menu, is going to be your main nav. Your secondary menu is your sub menu, and your footer menu is your footer menu. Once you've assigned all those, hit save. Now this is going to dramatically change this page here. We're not going to have any more drop downs because they're no longer showing in our menu over here. Let me show you why. We'll hit home and refresh this, and now we've got just kind of a jumbled mess. But not to worry, we'll get that all changed. Okay, so to get started, what we're going to do is we're going to start going through our main navigation here. Let's go ahead and figure out how we're going to do this on the rest of it. So I would like to take PTA programs and put that higher up so that people can see it. Now that's a little bit too long. I like to have this title, but we want to shrink it down in the navigation because it's just taking up too much space. So we're going to hit this arrow here, and we're just going to call it PTA programs. So we're going to delete this portion right here, and then hit save menu. And you don't have to save every time, but I want to show you how it changes. So now it's going to say it's PTA programs. And we'll also tell you the original was PTA programs giving and events. After PTA programs, let's do PTA info. And we're going to make the drop downs in a sec. I'm just making the main navigation. And we can leave PTA info like it is. That sounds good. And then how about business sponsors? And fundraising can go there. And then how about volunteer? And let's do the join the PTA one. We don't really need news. That'll be kind of on the home page, so we're just going to get rid of that one for now. Info, we actually created a new one, so we'll get rid of this old one here. Remove. And then contact us is going to be under info actually, so let's just not worry about that right now. And we'll go ahead and remove that also. So these are going to be our main menu structure. So we're going to go ahead and save that. And if we reload this, we're going to see that we now have a fairly clean menu up top. It looks pretty good. Alright, now we're going to actually add some of the cool little features that we have underneath these here. So if we go back and look at the template one, we can see that we've got upcoming events, impact on students, the details, etc. So I want to change these around and add that in there, and I'll show you how you do that. So let's go back to our website. So we'll start with calendar. We'll click on this. Under description, this is where we can add what we want to add. So I'm going to add upcoming events here. And then we'll save this just so you can see what's going on. And if we go back to this one and refresh it, you'll see now that it has upcoming events, which is kind of cool. Now in the event that you don't have that, go up to screen options, click on that, and make sure that description is checked. And then you can close the screen options again. So let's go ahead and add the rest of these real quick here. Okay, and if we don't want to save those right now, we don't have to. We can do that later on. We just have to make sure we do it at some point before we change the page. And you can get creative with these and say whatever you want. Volunteer. Okay, sometimes you might see this huge amount of text in there. You can just get rid of that. And there might be more, so make sure you get all of it. And then join. Here's another one. Alright, like so. Now let's save this menu and go back and look at it in the regular one here. Make sure it looks how we want it to. Yeah, that looks great. So we've got everything we want. Now, in our example one, we have drop downs, so we want to add some more pages to this. So let's go back to our main menu area. And what we're going to do is we're going to start adding pages. So with the calendar, we don't really have anything we want to add underneath there. Under the programs, we've got a whole bunch of things we want to add under there. So why don't we go down here to pages, and if yours is in a different order for some reason, it could be further down. You can always drag things up and down to move them around. So for example, we know where the theme locations are. We can actually take the pages and move them up if we want. Alright, so let's do view all. And we want to do after school enrichment. We want to do the fall carnival. We want to do the science fair. I'm going to do some of the main ones here. The silent auction, PTA events and assemblies. Let's do giving and grants. Let's do additional PTA programs. That should be enough for that. So we've got all those. Those are the ones we're going to add underneath PTA programs here. So let's go ahead and add to menu. And you don't want to add too many or then it's going to drop down too far. So let's see, we've got after school enrichment, the fall carnival. Okay, so we've got all those added now. And I'm going to shrink a couple of these down. Why don't we take this one here, for example, and let's just make it giving and grants. So it's a little bit shorter. Shrink that back up. And that's probably the only one that we have to do. Let's double check and see how it looks after we save it here. We'll go back in, we'll refresh by hitting home. PTA programs, and now is the arrow next to it. And yeah, that looks good. We've got all those listed there. Now let's put some additional ones down here. We don't have to do all of them because we listed quite a few of them there. But why don't we list some of them? So let's go to view all again. And I'm just going to add a couple of the things that should be listed. If it's not listed there, we need to go to the second page. So we got the student phone book. Okay, so we've got all these added to the main thing down here. Now we just want to drag them up underneath additional PTA programs. So we've got our phone book, got the running club, reflections art. Okay, and let's go ahead and save this. And we will refresh this by hitting home. And then we'll have an additional menu down here. Now we don't want to get too much further down because if we get too far down on this screen, you're not going to be able to get to it. So let's leave it at that for now. That looks good. So let's do the next tab now. So we've got PTA info. So let's scroll down. Here's PTA info. The things we want to put under this one. Let's go to view all again. And remember, we created all these earlier in our pages. So we've got contact us, which goes down to email the PTA. Submit, submit, submit. Let's start with that. Alright, so let's make this menu real quick. So under PTA info we have contact us. And under that they can... Oh, we missed email. Forgot that. Email the PTA. Add to menu. Alright, so under contact us they can email us or they can submit news. Under news they can submit Tuesday news or they can submit monthly news, like so. Now let's save the menu. There's a couple more things we want to add under here, so let's go ahead and just do that real quick. So we're going to have PTA board members. And we're also going to add the documents. Is that listed under PTA? Yes, there it is. Under PTA documents. So let's add those two things as well. And we'll put those under info additionally. So that's going to go here. Whoops, nope, there. And we'll put this one there. Now that's kind of long, so I'm going to change this one to just PTA board members. And we'll save. Now let's go take a look at it on this side. We'll refresh by hitting home. And then info now has a drop down. We've got documents, board members, contact us, email, submit, all of our different options. So that's great. All right, let's continue on. Next we have business sponsors, and we added a couple things for that. Let's do business sponsors. And we'll do them again actually because we want to list them under the drop down as well. Make sure they get plenty of coverage. We got business sponsor payments, we have artwork, and we have the application. So let's add all of those. And what I'm saying is that if you click on this business sponsors, it's going to be the exact same as this one, but we're going to list them down here so that people know they can click on that and actually see who it is. Okay, so now we're going to take our business sponsor info and we're going to put that underneath here. So we've got the business sponsors and then the sponsorship info. Put our application, our artwork upload, and our sponsor payments. Okay, and we're going to shrink some of these down. And we'll save the menu here. Let's refresh this. And now we'll be able to get to business sponsors here or here. And we're actually going to change that because that looks a little long. But these look great. So business sponsorship info. We'll change that a little bit here. Whoops. We're just going to call this sponsorship info. And hit save. And if we refresh this now, yes, that fits much better on there. Alright, let's keep moving on. Now we have some of the fundraising things, and there's just a couple things we had on there. So we had the King Supers card, and we had the Target Red card. That might be on the next page. Yep, we'll skip that. We have eCycle, and we have the ebook, which is probably on the next page. Okay, so we'll add that first page on there, and then we'll go to the second page. And we'll get the ebook and the Target Red card, add those to the menu. And now we'll come down here and we'll look at fundraising, and we're going to want to bring up, so we'll go King Supers card, Target Red card, eCycle, ebook, and save. Now if we go back here and refresh this again, we'll see an arrow underneath or next to fundraising with some more information there. At this point, we are all set with our main menus.